You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
Absolutely amazing. What the grab! Folks, you can watch football a long, long time before you see another play like that. Spectacular play! This is as good a catch as you'll ever see.
Israel Sports Radio, your radio home of the Kraft Family IFL. Catch all the big plays and hard-hitting action right here on Israel Sports Radio, the IFL on ISR, live on Thursday nights from now through February. For more information, visit www.ifl.co.il.
That same team, Uriel back, who is also a coach in the high school team with the Boyer Predators, and we're going to hear a little bit about his preparation tactics for the Predators with their upcoming preseason. A little later on, we're going to speak to the quarterback and one of the old-time IFL veterans of the Tel Aviv Jaffa Sabres, Adi Hakami. Always a great conversation. And we're going to catch up with Shai Brill, who anyone who hears Israel Sports Football, anyone who's a part of the IFL, always knows that Shai always has plenty to say. Most of it is well worth listening to. It should be exciting to speak also. But just before we go to break, I'm going to run down the standings and what we have to look forward to this week in IFL. The phone lines are open. You could chat in Israel 02-563-1492. Toll free from North America 1-301-850-2484. Anything you want to say, we will not back away from any comment, any question. We ask you to keep it civil and somewhat less profane than could get on the field, but any comments you guys have, feel free to call in, chat in, and we'll try to answer or discuss as much as you would like. But running through the standings, we have the Sabres and Underdogs tied in the North Division at 2-0, with the Hatikva Hammers in third place at 1-1. The Pioneers who many people said were the favorites coming into this season. The Pioneers at 0-1. Once again, their opening night game was postponed. It looks like that game is either going to be played in in January, or possibly even in the end of February as a doubleheader that will be tacked on in Jerusalem. But for the current, they're 0-1. This past Friday was their season opener. They lost 24-6. And the Northern Stars from Nahariya, Shlomi, a collection of places in the north, well north of Haifa, are at 0-2, but a proud 0-2. Moving on to the south, the Jerusalem Lions 2-0, and a very convincing 2-0. Chaim Schiff, Benjamin Schwartz, the defense. There's really not a lot that they've done wrong in the past 2 weeks. Both games they scored 64 points and really put on dominant displays. The Black Swarm, those who remember 2 years ago as an expansion team, went 0-10. Now sit at 2-1 in second place in the South Division. The Kings are at 1-2 with a hard-fought victory early in the season, but there's a lot of football to be played. The Rebels, once again, have played almost 2 games, but they're at 0-1 as well, a loss to the Lions, which will put them back in their own division race to try to come in first place. And then the Troopers from Petach Tikva, an expansion team, also sitting at 0-2, but they've scored 30 points in 2 games. They've let up 108. But, it's amazing to see the improvement that these teams do on a consistent basis. The good teams, maybe some of the lesser teams in the league, they're all improving. Some teams are improving at better levels, and you know what? They're starting from very different bases, but it's an exciting league this year. We look forward to speaking to those around the league, which divisions, how they see it shaking out, both during the season, how it seems to come about, how it's different than last year. But we're going to take a quick break and then come back with Yonah Mishon on the other side of these commercials.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman. Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
You're already using a credit card every day. Why not feel good every time you make a purchase? When using the HAS Advantage Support Israel Visa card, a percentage of each purchase you make will be donated to your choice of 24 Israeli-based charities, while still earning a reward point for every dollar spent. But wait, these rewards are even better than the standard rewards you get, especially when using them towards Israel travel, with the best conversion rate on El Al's Matmeed Frequent Flyer program. Earn double points at some of your favorite supermarkets and restaurants in the U.S., as well as discounts all over Israel. If you love traveling and supporting Israel, HAS Advantage is the card for you. Just give us a call toll-free at 1-866-6-ISRAEL. Sign up right now with the code ISR10 to earn 2,500 bonus points. That's 1-866-647-7235. HAS Advantage. Earn rewards. Support Israel. Offer valid for U.S. citizens only. Terms and conditions do apply. When dialing from within Israel, please dial 1-800-200-818.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1, Higia Hazman.
DJ Venom, DJ Venom, DJ Venom, DJing parties throughout Israel, birthday parties, weddings, club events, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, and much more. You pick the type of music and DJ Venom will turn your event into the party of the year. Available Sunday through Thursday. Call 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. That's 052-952-6506 or email djvenom1984@yahoo.com. Book your party today. That's DJ Venom.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
And welcome back to the Myra Kraft Israel Sports Radio IFL show. I'm Uriel Sturm, the commissioner of the IFL, and joining me now on the phone is a member of the Judean Rebels He's been a member of the league for 3 years now, I believe, and he's won a championship. He's really gone through it all with the Rebels. He sees that a lot is happening, but we join us now, number 40, Shai Brill. Welcome, Shai. Thanks for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. How's things going over there?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're discussing the makeup of the divisions and how would you weigh in on this? The way you think the North Division, we've had people saying that the North Division seems stronger than the South Division this year. There's the Sabres, the underdogs are really playing very well. The Hammers are playing well, the Pioneers. And fine, the Northern Stars are an expansion team. What would you say about the North versus the South Division?
Well, at the moment, all those times, I mean, we've played so far. We've played the Sabres, we've played, the Hammers and the Pioneers in the preseason, and they've, given us great games. The North Division is definitely a very strong division. I haven't personally seen the underdogs, but I've seen the box scores, and they look pretty tough too. It's gonna be a tough race for the North. I guess I'm sorry for them, but it's better for us. These kind of things happen. There happens to be a lot of talent in the North this year. Last year, I'd say the South was the tougher division, but, this year I guess it's the North.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the underdogs, believe me, it's no BS. They're really a very, very good team this year. They did beat one of their games was against the North Stars, but I'm telling you, their game against the Hammers, they really took them apart in all aspects of the game. I haven't seen too many IFL teams play like that, play a full-out game. You guys have lost a lot of talent from last year's championship-winning squad.
No kidding. I'd say we lost 6 guys that would have been all IFL last year on defense alone. Matt and Ricky, 2 of the top players in the IFL, the three Alliant brothers, and Yoni Kranzler, who is our top defensive back, who is really underrated. If you ask any Rebels player, we'll tell you how great he was, but most people didn't know how great he was. And that's on defense alone. If you look on offense, we lost Varia, got hurt. He was our best offensive lineman. We lost his center. We lost Barbados, our top two receivers in Mike Swiecka and Kenneth. Joe had to move to quarterback to replace last year's MVP, Alex Swiecka. This kind of thing happens. There's a lot of turnover in the league.
It reminds me of the Florida Marlins of 2003, dismantling the squad after the championship.
Yeah, we wish we got a couple more prospects back the way the Marlins did, but we appreciate the contribution all those guys made. We miss them all. And we just, everyone just has to step up. Football's a team game, and that means that every single player on the team, from the first guy to the last guy, just needs to step up and do a little bit more. We don't have as many stars.
You guys are 0-1 right now. You lost to the Lions in a heartbreaking game for many reasons. Most importantly, the injury to a key teammate of yours, a friend of yours, a friend of everyone in the leagues, David Arshovsky. And our hearts all go out to him throughout the IFL. But also, back on from the football perspective, you lost the key game there. You may end up winning or losing this game against the Sabres that got postponed with 16 seconds left. Do you guys think you're behind the 8 ball now, sitting 1.5 games in?
Not at all. Not at all. It's a long season, and everyone knows the real season begins in the playoffs. The Lions definitely took it to us and gave us a good beating, and we've got a lot to, we have a lot of work to do. One of the advantages they had, this is no excuse, but we didn't really get to see a lot of their team this year because they only played one preseason game, and their game against the Pioneers was postponed. So we didn't really know what what to expect from them. So that kind of took us by surprise. But listen, at the same time, they definitely took it to us and gave us a good old-fashioned butt whooping. So, but it's a long season. We plan on getting better. We have a lot of guys that are pretty new to the game that are, every practice you can see them getting better. So I think that the game in March will be a different story.
Is there any aspect to the emotional? Maybe we'll play it for David, and we'll try to. Is there anything going on like that on your team right now?
I think that's got to do. We're definitely going to all have to step up for Dave. We all apologize to him because we all felt bad. not just for losing the game, but we all knew that night he was, sitting alone, in his hospital bed, and instead of saying, having something to be, smile about a victory, he had to be like, oh, I broke my leg and, my team lost, which is tough. So we all really felt bad about that. So there is that sense. Some other guys on the team are going through some personal problems as well that I don't really want to get into because it's their private thing. But, we definitely want to try to make the football field a positive place for them, a place where they can smile and kind of get away from some of their problems. And, we hope to bring our Shopski some joy on the field as well, even though, he can't be out there playing with us. But, he showed up to practice last night. We reeled him around Kraft Field. He had a good time. He was catching some passes. We told him we were going to, put in some running plays. We were going to try to petition you to let a guy with a wheelchair on there, and he can either lead the way and the guy behind him pushing can hold the ball or something like that. We don't know, but
I think assisting the runner maybe.
Yeah, we'll look into the rules. I don't know what it says about players in wheelchairs, but. He's definitely in good spirits and still definitely a part of the Rebels. So
no, he's also a big part of the league. I'm telling you, it's unfortunate that this happened, but he just was taking over the IFL website and running it and administrating it as like the week we had met before the injury happened. So for better or for worse, he told me, at least I have time now where I could put in, and he'll be at home and he'll be able to really take that and make that his baby, and hopefully we'll all see the fruits of his labor.
I got to tell you, it's news to me that he has such good skills on the internet, because the Judean Rebels still do not have a website of our own, as embarrassing as that is. So I'm going to have to tell him that while he's on injured reserve, he's not only on your website, he's got to work, develop a website for us too. It's been 3 years and we're a little embarrassed about this.
Well, you started out with a website at one point.
I think we had a website that says like Judean Rebels website under construction coming soon.
Right.
Which is not really a website of any, It's
little by little, Shai, little by little.
Yep. Yeah.
But you guys have a game this Thursday night.
Yep.
It's against an expansion team.
Yep.
The Northern Stars. I guess you're happy that you didn't have to travel up there. Although sometimes road trips for teams are galvanizing and they bring them bond together. However, do you guys look at this as a game that you mark down as victory already, or I guess your token answer is going to be no. But deep inside,
first of all, like I've been around sports long enough to know that there's no guarantee. You play. There's a reason you play the game. No one thought that. I'll bring it back. No one thought that Buster Douglas could have beat Mike Tyson, and I remember waking up and finding out that Mike Tyson had been knocked out by some random guy named Buster Douglas. Even this year, Oklahoma State was, I believe, 27-point favorites over Iowa State. Iowa State won. You play the game. You don't play it on paper. You don't play it, in anywhere other than the field. And these guys aren't showing up to lose. They're showing up to give everything they've got, and we expect nothing less from them. And I expect the game. I hope and believe we should win the game if we play our game. But anything can happen.
Did you see Tebow's miracle yesterday?
Yes, I did. I did see Tebow's miracle yesterday.
At what point did you think that they may win, or at no point until they won?
I thought they were going to win the second that Barber got pushed out of bounds.
Okay.
The second Barber got pushed out of bounds, I was like, this is too much. This is when it's happening.
But it still took him fumbling in overtime there. Like, a lot happened after that. He had to, Prater had to hit the 59-yard field goal. Then they lost the toss. It looked like Barber was running for a touchdown there until he was stripped. It was really a crazy chain of events. And as you were saying, it just brought me that to mind. Anything could happen in sports. And so you got to prepare for every game.
Like the Rebels will do anything to win. So we're starting to think, some guys are maybe starting to think about converting and different things like that. Tebow must be onto something. That this guy shows no discernible quarterbacking skills for 2.5 to 3 quarters, and then turns into the second coming of Montana and Johnny Unitas and and probably like Walter Payton running the ball. So
it's something else. It's amazing to watch, and look, football brings out those stories even where you don't see them coming, and I see a lot of those type of stories developing in the IFL, and it's an exciting season. I think we're just hitting our stride. We all have a lot to grow and improve on, but I think we're just starting to get into the meat of the season, and I wish you guys luck. And thanks a million for joining us. And
no problem. Thanks for having me.
We will speak to you soon, Shai. I'll see you out on the field.
Sounds good. Sounds
Take
good.
care.
See you
Enjoy
Thursday.
practice.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
That was Shai Brill of the Judean Rebels. The Rebels, I'm telling you, if they were in the North Division, they'd be fighting for their playoff lives. It's shocking to say, but as he ran down the list of all those players, some of those players, I didn't even, Kranzler and Scharf and Michael Stuyaka, these guys all had multiple touchdowns, multiple sacks last year. Not even to mention the LA Young brothers, Alex Stuyaka, Ricky, Barya not being in, Matt Geller. It's really a different team. Joe is really the only constant of producing on a consistent basis. Morty Trifus is going to the Army now. The Rebels are a different team, and you know what? They no longer impose fear in the other teams, and that's a big part of coming to face a team when you know that they have that intimidation factor. And the Rebels have lost that a little bit. Maybe they can get it back, but a victory this weekend I don't think is going to get them back. That swagger, that respect, that, oh no, we're facing the Rebels, that every team who they face will think. This week they're playing the North Stars. They have to win. I don't think they could afford to go 0-2.5. Again, that game, I would still, if we were putting odds on that game where they're down 7 points, 16 seconds left, and driving for the tying or winning score, I would put that still in a Tebow, like maybe they could win it, but it would still take a lot. So this is a must-win game for the Rebels this week. I think they think that they're going to take care of business. But you know what? They also are playing the Kings in the Hanukkah Bowl coming up in 2 weeks' time. That's always an exciting game. So the Rebels have a lot on their plates, but so does every other team in the IFL, and we're going to hear from some of those right after the break. I'm Uriel Sturm. This is the Myra Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Welcome back after that short break, but when we catch this guy, we do not let him off the phone. Joining us now is the coach of basically everything in Israel football, from flag to men to women to tackle. Not much else we could say. Everyone who listens to this show know him. Jonah Michon, thank you for joining us. How are you?
Thank you very much for having me on. How's it going?
Thank you for answering your phone.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm sorry. I'm actually in the middle of practice.
I know. I'm sorry to take you away, but what are you thinking about your Raiders?
Is this Andy or is this Uriel? I don't remember.
I'm telling you, Tebow, you're going up against God here. It's not looking good for you guys.
Well, we have Al Baby upstairs, and if we're talking about God, thank God he's up there helping us out. But the Raiders,
if you put Al and Tim Tebow on the scales of justice, I wouldn't go with the Raiders on that one.
No, you wouldn't. I wouldn't either. But I think the biggest problem was the Raiders had to have beaten the Miami Dolphins, and everything would have looked different right now. But now that they lost to them, it doesn't look good at all for our playoff berth after 8 years, I think, or 7 years. I don't remember the exact amount. But we'll be okay. It'll be all right.
No, at
Raiders
least
forever, baby. Raiders
look,
forever.
Carson Palmer, are you a fan or a hater?
I wasn't a fan. I am a fan now. I never really liked him as a quarterback, but I think that we would have done better if wow, I lost his name now. Not Washington. The quarterback that went down.
Jason Campbell. Who would you rather have? Jason Campbell, Carson Palmer?
The way he was playing this year, I would have rather kept Campbell. He looked really, really good.
Moving on to the IFL. Itai Ashkenazi, Chaim Schiff.
You realize that I'm not even going to answer that question. Not because I don't know what I think. It's only because they're both not only players two of them I played with, one in flag and one in tackle. Coach both of them now, and they're friends of mine, so I can't answer that question.
Look, it's hard to say that anyone has played better this season than Chaim Schiff. You've played 2 games. In the first game, he threw for 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, 236 yards. And then he topped that last Thursday night. He threw for another 6 touchdowns, 250 yards, another error-free game. This is really something that we haven't seen from him. He played on the Pioneers last year. He never really got into the groove. What's different?
And the shocking thing is that in both games, well, more in the game against the Kings, we try to stop throwing the ball. Probably most of the end of the third quarter, most of the fourth quarter, we stopped. We could have kept throwing, and we stopped it. We weren't there for the stats. What happened with Chaim? I think, first of all, Chaim has always been a great player, even from the days we played flag together. And I also think that I went up to Chaim right before the game. I said, Chaim, I played with you. I just want you to go out there and play. And stop worrying about everything around what's going on, injuries, not injuries, pioneers, not pioneers. That's really irrelevant. You just go out and be the Chaim, or I call him Chaimi, the Chaimi that you are. And he really came out there, and he's starting to take a leader position on the team, and that makes a big difference. He's talking in the huddle before and after the game, and I think once he feels comfortable, and he is starting to feel comfortable, he's going to be a player, a really difficult player to play against. He runs, he stays in the pocket. His arm isn't as strong as it could be. He's working on that now. We're working with him on that, and it's going to be okay.
Look, he's been incredibly impressive in your first 2 games. I know that everyone wanted to see that opening night matchup, the Lions against the Pioneers, but we're in the process of working out the postponement date for that game, but that's really going to be an exciting game. But you guys are looking pretty good. 2-0, you guys are looking pretty stacked at the quarterback position, at the running back position. Who is this number 36?
I don't know. Who's 36?
He's wearing a Victor Jonas jersey.
That's our friend Sterling. You're talking our defense. Your guy, he plays tight end. He plays defensive end, stuff like that.
No, he's the running back. The running back.
I don't know the numbers, man.
You know the running back. You have Danny running the ball, and you have.
Yeah, I know.
He played rugby.
Yeah, I know he is.
So he's really electric. He scored 2 touchdowns. Between him, Danny, Benjamin, or Jupiter has made some spectacular catches over the 2 games you guys have had. Donnie Schechter, you have this new guy, Uri Rafaelowitz. You guys are looking great on offense, and on defense, you guys also have the old crew back. You're going to be back, it sounds like.
I'm not back. If I'm coaching, I'm not back. I can't do both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should be jumping out of our pants. I said this in the beginning of before the season started, and I'm not saying it just to say it. I really mean it. Right now, the teams to beat are the Sabres, the Pioneers, and the Rebels. I still think the Rebels are a much better team than they are when they played us. I think we're in the top 5 teams right now, maybe top 4 teams. I don't think we're on the first 2 teams right now. And even if we beat the Sabres and the Pioneers, I don't think it makes any difference right now until we get to the playoffs. We all know what 7 minutes in this league means to especially us. In 7 minutes, a 21-point lead went down the drain. So it's really irrelevant how we play now. Right now, we're just building and working. And if we lose a couple, we win a couple, we'll get to the playoffs. We'll see what happens if we make it to the playoffs.
Trying to have fun is the name of the game.
We're not trying to have fun, but we all know it's not only about the fun in this league.
In any sport, it's not only about the fun. If you want to just have fun, then go to Luna Park. But football and sports is about the competitiveness also. And yes,
guys work too hard. They work too hard just to make it fun.
Exactly, but you know what? And you want to win too bad to just make it about fun. There has to be that letdown when you lose to make the winning as good as it is also.
I agree with you. I want to say regarding the last game against the Kings. I mean, we practice with them on the same field every week, and unfortunately, they didn't get their pads. I think was it like 2 weeks before the season started.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, that team is going to be a very, very strong team later on this season. If they get another 1 or 2 talented players, they're a good team. And I don't think the scoreboard really projects what they're really worth on the field. And I think a couple more weeks, and they're going to surprise some of us.
No, I hope you're right. I hope all the games are close. We've seen a little too many blowouts for our liking, but some of these games have still been a great highlight package. We've seen a lot of tremendous individual performances. The Big Blue Jerusalem Lions are traveling this Saturday night up to Petach Tikva for the first
ever. You know where we're playing?
I have just got the maps of where we're playing. I have to drive up there to make sure that the freaking lights work because I don't want to get stuck in a similar situation as what happened. But it's we do have a field there. It's supposedly a very nice field. It's where one of the professional soccer teams play. And then yes, and then there's in 2 weeks. You guys are playing the Sabres, but before then, you guys have a team wedding, and next Thursday night, which should be which should be very exciting. One of your players, Neve, is marrying one of your other players, Brick, and it should really be.
Just tell everyone it's a male and a female, so there's no mix-up here.
Yes, Adina Brickman, one of the loveliest females on the women's national flag team, is marrying one of the tackle players. She actually introduced her fiancé to football, Neve, and it's got to be a moment of extreme pride for you, Yona, and it should be a moment of celebration for the entire Lions and the IFL, I guess, also. Football in Israel.
100%. It's a very exciting night, and we have 4 days after that wedding, we have another national women's team flag player, Miriam Hunt, is also getting married. So there's a lot of weddings, and actually on Thursday we have another, it's not important, another girl who used to play on the national team is also getting married. So there's a lot of weddings. I wanted to just talk to you about one thing about the Sabres. Can I tell you that? Can I talk about that, Commissioner?
Of course.
Well, I'm sure John Sharon's listening because I'm 100% sure. We still have, we always have, and we've had a tremendous respect for the Sabres. Last year, we had a horrific defensive game. They had a great offensive game and a little bit of a better defensive game than we did. If you remember, I think it was like 70-something to 40 or 50 or something crazy like that. So we really are coming out there to.
It was 70 to 44.
Yeah, it was pathetic. It was a pathetic game. It was a good game, but we got ripped, and we definitely.
This year, you guys are hosting the Sabres, but I got to tell you, they are playing the last 16 seconds of their game against the Rebels before they play you. So there's a built-in excuse for them right off the bat. They may have to even go to overtime.
Wow. Well, so I don't envy them up on that level because it's, God forbid someone gets injured or.
Even just the mental preparation isn't the same.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But it is what it is, and
it is what it is. Yes.
We go on here in Israel football, and in the end of the day, it'll be just a double treat for the fans to see the end of one game and then another exciting game right on its heels. But Yona, I don't want to take you away from practice too much. Thank you so much, as always, from joining us. I liked how you backed away from the Schiff Ashkenazi debate, which is raging on Twitter and throughout the social media. But they're both great players. They're both great quarterbacks, and it should be exciting to see them compete on each of their respective divisions, try to lead their teams into first place, and maybe you guys will meet in the championship. You guys have a regular season game against the Pioneers, which everyone is going to come out for. Yona, go back to practice. Thanks a lot, and have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
That was the coach, Yona Michon of the Big Blue Jerusalem Lions. We are going to go to another break here on Israel Sports Radio. I'm Uriel Sturm, and when we come back on the other side, we are going to speak to the quarterback of the Sabres, Adi Hakami.
Hey folks, Kagan here. As you know, I'm always staying on top of the fitness world, keeping up with current trends. One form of exercise that's been around for ages and is currently being rediscovered is suspension bodyweight training. So if you're looking for a way to get in shape, improve your health, and train your body to move in new ways, then the X1 by Israel Gym Systems is for you. Find out more on our website at www.israelgym.com or look for our page on Facebook, Israel Gym Systems X1. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
Welcome back. Joining us on the phone now is one of the members of the IFL that I think has been around for longer than I have been around in the IFL. He's played on the Sabres for a very long time. He's been there through thick, through thin, won a championship, been a perennial loser, been a perennial winner, and now he's just a sponsor, the first player owner in the IFL. Joining us now is Hadi Akami. Thank you so much for joining us, Hadi.
How are you?
So you have a vested interest in your team now.
I guess you can say that, sure.
Yeah, player owner. There hasn't been one of those in sports in quite a while. It sounds like Mark Cuban coming down and trying to play for the Mavs. You are really the championship quarterback that has taken the team on his back, both financially and on the field.
Thank you very much.
No, but basically, you've seen the league from the very start. And how have you seen the development of the teams and specifically of the Sabres?
Specifically the Sabres, it's truthfully it's amazing. I'm really surprised. I remember when me and Itai Ashkenazi used to show up Friday afternoons at the Sport Tech in Tel Aviv and just throw balls around and get pickup games and then somehow a league came out of that, and we continued on. And the Sabres were built obviously without Itai Ashkenazi. And I remember in the beginning, I was even coaching. I was only how old was I? I was like 16, 17, and I was coaching Israelis who didn't know anything about football. And somehow people just loved the sport, and they kept coming back, and slowly it built up itself. And without me, because I left the country for a while, and it just kept going, and and here we are today.
Well, you were on the Sabres in the first year with pads. I definitely remember you were the starting quarterback then.
That's right.
And then you took a year off, right?
I took about 2.5 years off, actually. I came back 2 years ago. I came back to the country, and back then when I came back, they didn't know who I was. Nobody on the team, maybe a few people on the team knew who I was. And well,
Liran was still around at that point, right?
Who was?
Liran Chovav.
Liran Chovav was still around, yes.
And but now, I guess right now you probably are the senior-most member of the Sabres. Is there anyone around from the first couple years besides for you?
No, that's just me.
Well, Yoni Shochat was around. He's not playing anymore, but he's still around the team, I guess.
Yes, well, he's actually injured right now.
So he is. And Omri Shanan also. He's not a player anymore, but he's
not a player, yeah.
And I guess Raviv also comes.
Raviv comes to the games. If you remember Raviv.
Yes, of course. Who could forget Raviv?
He comes to the games, and he was one of our original crew. And they show up every once in a while. It's nice to see the old faces. But I can't think of Yoni Shochat. I hope when he gets out of his injury, he'll come back to play.
Okay, look, it's nice to play with the old veterans, but you guys have developed a new cadre of players that every year there's a big turnover, but you have enough people coming back that it maintains the core. I guess the coaching does a lot, contributes a lot to that. I know John Sharon and Mike and Larry all have their roles on the team, and they help.
Of course.
But I guess the players, it's a lot of returning players from your 2 years ago when you won the championship, but there's a lot of new players that you see have been integrated into the system. How is that done? Through practicing or more just through the games you develop the chemistry?
Well, it's a mix, actually.
Because the reputation on you, Adi, is that you don't show up to practices too much.
Those are just rumors.
If your coach is to be believed from his yelling on the sidelines.
Well, listen, obviously, I run a business, and it's very tough to get a lot of time off. But I come to as many practices as possible, and a lot of the stuff is really done. It's very mental. I think that most of the stuff that we actually learn more from talking to each other than necessarily from repetition. And just if we're able to talk a play through and what does each person do, then we get it done, and then we make mistakes and we fix them, but that's how it's done, I guess, on the Sabres. Sometimes you never know. Sometimes in the huddle, before a play, we'll be like, all right, well, sometimes we don't know the play, but we'll talk it through in the huddle and pull it off.
Look, one of the things that I always like about watching you play is that you the joy that you have for the game never gets lost. Even if it's a tough game, you're always having fun out there. You're always just out there to throw the football around, no matter how stressed or pressure-filled the situation does get, whether you're in 4th and goal down by 6 points or whether you're in a 94-12 blowout up in Shlomi. And the excitement of playing football is still there. I'm looking at your stat lines. I just finished the stats from 2 weeks ago, last week's game. You went 10 of 11 for 183 yards and 5 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's pretty damn amazing at any level of football, even on a practice field. To go 10 of 11 with 5 TDs is definitely an impressive stat.
That was the Pioneers? Against the Pioneers?
No,
against the North Stars?
that was against the North Stars. I haven't finished the Pioneers stats yet. I wanted to get there. You guys were coming into a game against the Pioneers that I think you thought would be a little tougher than it ended up being. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. We thought, I still think that the Pioneers are one of the best teams out there. And we thought we'd have a really tough battle, but things were clicking, even though the Sabres usually don't click during morning games, I have to say, but we were clicking. Things were going well for us, and we felt like it was we're finally coming together this year as a team with all the new people and everything. And it was very satisfying. I was very happy that it was easy to get through that game.
If Itai Ashkenazi plays, is it a different game, different scoreline? How much does that impact?
I don't know. I don't know. I think Itai Ashkenazi, I guess it would be more of an air game. A lot more passing. From their side, and it would really challenge our secondary more. But I don't know. To tell you the truth, I don't know. Since I've been back to Israel, even when we played Itai Ashkenazi, we usually only saw him in the first half and maybe up in the third quarter, and then it was someone else. So I don't know how it would change it.
But look, I'll tell you, no matter what, the Pioneers, they didn't have their offense clicking that day, but they still held you guys to 24 points, which is quite a feat in the IFL. Usually the score lines, particularly for a team like you guys scored 94 points the week before. The week before against the Rebels, you had 44 points. So 24 points is definitely a great defensive effort by them.
Sure.
I don't know if you've seen the Haifa Underdogs play this year in person, but I got to tell you, they're tied at 2-0 with you guys atop the division, but maybe one of those wins was against an expansion team like you guys were against the North Stars, but they are a really good team this year, and they are going to give all teams a run for their money, and your division is looking quite hard. The Hammers have drastically improved. The Pioneers, we know, have plenty of football left in them, and they're well coached, and they're disciplined, and they're going to play right through the end of the season, their hearts out. And yeah, the Northern Stars, I'm not sure how much they're going to contend for a playoff spot this year, but between the other 4 teams contending for 3 spots, it's certainly going to be a dogfight till the end of the maybe dogfight isn't the best football expression to use anymore, but till the end of the season. And I know you're in for the race, and it's going to be sure exciting to watch it from the sidelines.
Yeah, of course. It's very good to see. I'm excited to play the Lions, actually. The Lions, for what seems that they're the team to beat. And we get to play them next, after the Rebels, of course.
Right, what do you think about that? You guys are going to have to mentally prepare for those. Well, you so much may not even have to see any action. It's your defense is in, and it could end up that it's a 20-second game and that's the end of it. It could also end up that you go to overtime and then you're forced to come into action as well. But just from the mental angle, is that difficult to have to think we're preparing for 2 games at once almost?
Oh, no, of course not. Well, the thing with the Rebels, I feel like I was personally at fault for a lot of the mistakes that we did towards the end against them. I mean, it was a tough game. I think it was our first game coming out, and we were a little shaky, and we learned a lot of lessons since that game. And I'm excited to have like a second chance at fixing, our mistakes there. So it'd be great. It would be great to come back out, and I mean, obviously, it'd be nice to win, right off the bat, 1 play, game over. But if I get a chance to go into overtime and and beat them there, that'd be just as good.
Well, it's going to be definitely an exciting night for all of us who are watching. It's basically doubleheader, but without having to sit through 4 hours of football. We just get the exciting end of the game, and then we get to see a full other game to satisfy our thirst for real, a great showdown between the Sabres and the Lions. That's your next game, actually. So you'll, by the end of that night, you'll have played 4 games, although now you only sit at 2-0. So you could go from 2-0 to 4-0, or from 2-0 to 2-2, or 3-1, or however it plays out. It's definitely going to be a pivotal night for the Sabres season, and we're all going to be very excited to watch that. That's Thursday, December 29th. First, we see the end of the Sabres Rebels, and then we see the Sabres Lions right after that. So everyone should come out, and thank you so much, Adi, for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in the next couple weeks.
You got it. Have a good night.
And I got to come down to Bourbon Street once for to see NFL.
Yeah, you do. We're showing Sunday Night Football.
Do you stay open for the late game? Do you stay open for the 3:30 game?
We're open. Which game are you specifically talking about?
No,
tonight?
do you stay open for like the 3:30 games, like the?
We stay if there's a good game and there's people that want to watch. We stay open as long as there's somebody in the place. We're open for.
What was the action with Tebow last night? A lot of fans out there watching.
Yeah. We were pretty full. We were pretty full every week with a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans on business trips and stuff like that. They hear about us, and we're the only place in the area that's showing games. And we haven't found, we haven't had a person walk into the place and ask for a specific game that we haven't been able to put on for them. So, it hasn't happened yet.
That's something every bar should be able to boast.
Yeah, it's very tough in Israel, but we work on it, we pay for it. But and it's something that we take pride in, and we get the NFL fans. They come in and they have a great time, and we're going to keep going until the Super Bowl. It's going to be fun.
Tell us the address of the bar.
It's Hamenofim 8 in Herzliya Pituach.
That's Bourbon Street. It's owned and operated by Adi Akami, a veteran of the IFL, a fantastic quarterback, and a great guy. And thanks so much, Adi. I hope to make it out there in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us, and
my pleasure.
Speak to you soon. That was Adi Akami, and we'll be back with Uriel back of the Jerusalem Kings right after these quick messages.
Are you tired of paying for expensive gym memberships that you don't use? Are you frustrated by not seeing results? It's time for the X1. Israel Gym Systems is proud to launch the X1 suspension and bodyweight training system. Lose weight, build muscle, improve balance, coordination, and flexibility. With your purchase of the X1, you'll receive a free membership to IsraelGym.com and access to our archives of videos and exercise plans. Sign up today at www.israelgym.com and get ready for the new you. Israel Gym X1. Higia Hazman.
Joining us now on the phone as we go into the last segment of this week's Myra Kraft IFL show on Israel Sports Radio is a member of the IFL who's been around now for 4 or 5 years. He was first a member of the Big Blue Jerusalem Lions as one of the youngest players in the league. Then he decided to start a new team in Jerusalem, and that's predominantly how the Kings were formed. Then he went off to the Army for a couple of seasons, or a season, and then came back last season and was again a member of the Kings. And then he decided to become a coach in the high school league. So really he's run the gamut of football in Israel. He's a member of the Kings, a captain of the Kings, a coach of the Boyer Predators. Joining us now is Uriel Back. Thank you so much for joining us, Uriel.
No problem, Uriel.
How is everything going?
Well, things are going good. Kings are, our roster's bigger than it ever was. And I think we're getting to where we want to be, slowly, gradually. Same goes for the high school team, the Boyer Predators. A bunch of strong kids. And things are looking good, looking very good.
Which one are you more confident of this season going into, the Kings or the Predators? I know it's a difficult comparison to make.
Well, I really can't answer that. I mean, the Kings are, they're my family, and the kids. There's a certain element of coaching that is satisfying beyond my ability to explain it. So I think it's basically it's equally important and gratifying, and that's about it.
The Kings. This week, you guys have an off week. You're playing the Rebels in the Hanukkah Bowl next week. Is there a lot of preparation that you guys are going into? I know the Rebels look like a vulnerable team right now. Do you guys have that game painted as this is a game to sort of get our season back to 500 and to really move on from here?
Well, basically, we don't look at the Rebels as vulnerable. They're still the defending champs. They're a very, very good football team, extremely professional, and they've always been a tough opponent. And we're preparing for them. We're basically doing everything that needs to be fixed. From last game, we're fixing it. Mainly, we let too much points go on the board against us, and we're working hard on fixing that. And we're getting the mentality right, and guys a little more focused. Obviously, we built most of our roster is composed of rookies. Guys that are first-year players. Some of them didn't even know football. So basically, it's like every week there's a huge improvement. You can see that in every practice. Basically, guys are getting into the game and they're learning it, and we're preparing for the Rebels on a few different planes. And improving basically what the mistakes we made in the last 3 games. We're building on that and fixing those step by step and really working hard in the attendance and morale in practice. You could see it as a bystander that it's really guys are hyped. We're ready to go.
Okay, and the Boyer Predators were just making the preseason schedule as we speak. And it's looking like it's going to be an 8 to 10 game season. What does your team think of 8 to 10 games, and how do you see the high school development as being different than the adult preparation?
Well, basically the high school kids, they have different, the adults, they got work and wives and kids and a lot of obligations. I'm not saying the kids don't. They have high school, they have a lot of pressure from school. I've actually got a few players that needed at a certain point to take time off from the team or for practices, and we kind of, as a team, we help them to get back because they got a lot of pressure from school. And a lot of my guys, for example, they go to school with their equipment, and they come straight from that. So the difference basically is that their week is extremely structured. So that the attendance, you can expect that, it's easier to expect who's going to come and who's not, and the kids are, from my point of view, they are much more disciplined than the adults. And I'm not just talking about the Kings, in general, because kids, they haven't been through the Army yet, they haven't they don't have that mentality of, I've been ordered around before, so I just come here to have fun, At least that's how I feel with my kids. They're extremely disciplined, extremely determined to get better and do whatever it takes. And, working with them is extremely gratifying because of that mentality and that effort that each one of them puts in, and preparing them, it's a little different because you got to be careful. Kids, usually adults, they've been hit before and they know how to take pain, they know how to walk with that. And kids, they get freaked out every time the wind gets knocked out of them. And obviously, as a coach, you gotta make sure that your kids are feeling safe, and because they're kids and they get alarmed much more easily. So basically, there are certain things that are different from the adults because you don't expect an adult to get freaked out over the little things, which is something, you got 14-year-olds in the high school league, and you got to pay attention to that, so that's the main factor.
Do you find that in ways that they're easier to coach, though?
I believe so, because adults, at least what from my experience in the past few years being with the Kings and with the Lions the first season, knowing a lot of players from other teams, I think that the high school kids are easier to coach most of the time because they are a little more disciplined, and it sounds a little, because you're thinking kids, but I don't know. It's, at least from my experience, it's easier to coach them because they they would do a lot of things that a lot of adults wouldn't, just because of their, I don't know how to call that, but exactly. But yeah, I think they're much easier to coach. I've actually spent some time trying to coach the Kings our first season, and from that experience, I can tell that if you tell you tell 20 kids to learn a playbook, from my experience, about 15 of them will show up next practice and they know it. And with the adults, it's like, I can get around to it, and a lot of that kind of stuff. And what do you expect? I got a wife, I got kids, I got work, which is reasonable. But that's what I'm saying. That kid's got a lot more free time and a lot less pressure. At least that's my belief. So that's easier to work with.
I will tell you that I could agree with a lot of what you're saying, but in the end of the day, a lot of the kids, you're having to teach them the sport for the first time. And Bemet kol hakavod to you guys that you're really able to build on the lessons that you've learned in the past few years and then impart that on other people and teach them the techniques. And it's really amazing to see. And I look forward to seeing you continue to teach your team and to improve the Kings. You guys have a couple of very tough games coming up. One against the next game against the Rebels in the Hanukkah Bowl at Kraft next Thursday night. And then after that, you're playing the underdogs in the North on Friday, January 6th after the New Year. So a lot is happening for you guys. But I thank you for coming on. We're running out of time on this show, and I go back to practice. I know they need you there for the final half hour.
Yeah, they do.
I'll speak to you soon, Uriel. Thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks a lot, Uriel.
That was Uriel back from the Jerusalem Kings, and just a quick preview of this weekend's games. We have 3 games this weekend. On Thursday night, we have the Northern Stars coming to Jerusalem to visit the Judean Rebels. On Friday, we have the Beersheba Black Swarm visiting the Tel Aviv Pioneers, who are looking for their first victory, while the Black Swarm are looking for their 3rd victory. Who would have predicted that on Friday, 10:30 a.m. in Tel Aviv University? And then on Saturday night, rounding off week 4 of the IFL regular season, we have the Big Blue Jerusalem Lions traveling to Petah Tikva for the first game ever in Petah Tikva of tackle football. The Troopers will be hosting the Lions, who are looking to go 3-0. The first team with a chance to go 3-0. Both the Sabres and Underdogs are on a bye week this week. I'm Uriel Sturm. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Have a fantastic week.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.